Welcome back to episode 4 of Stash Therapy with me, Casey. Today is September 22nd. It is a Monday, and I've got not a lot to go over with you, but some really fun stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about a couple of finished objects, my work in progress, because I only have one right now. And I do have several upcoming cast-ons that I will share the project with you and the yarn that I'm going to use for those. A couple of these y'all have seen in past videos, but 2 are new. And then we're also going to talk about some new yarn acquisition that I got this week, and we are going to talk about what I'm reading. So if that sounds fun to you, grab a beverage, grab a project, and let's dive in. But before we dive in, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment in the comments below. All right, y'all, let's talk about what's off my needles this week. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I finished my step-by-step sweater. Finished, blocked, woven the ends. I am so excited about this sweater. So let us talk about it a little bit. First of all, I started this on August 16th and I finished, technically I finished today by weaving in my ends, but it was off of my needles by September 20th. So this project really only took me about 34 to 35 days to complete. For this project, I made size E. I used 5mm needles, Chalgu red lace needles for my body. I used 4mm needles for the ribbing. The yarn is Coffee House Collection, the Chai Latte by Hue Loco. That is from 2024, and I held it double with drops, brushed alpaca silk, and color 4. I have a lot of that information on previous videos, so if you want to know more, go ahead and check those out. What I want to do today is I want to reflect on this process. As y'all may know, this is the first garment I've made. And I learned a lot in this process about how I knit, about the just construction process, about trusting size, and I'll talk about that more here. I also learned that I can make mistakes and they can be fixed. So yeah, this was a really fun project to make. I am very happy with it. I'm very happy with the color. I'm very happy with the length. It hits about just an inch or two below my natural waist, which is what I wanted. I didn't want a very long sweater, but I also don't want a crop sweater because I don't find crop sweaters comfortable at all. So I wanted it to fit really mid-waist. Let's talk about the fit. It's too big. It's too big by a lot. I don't know if y'all can really see this, but I have a lot of extra fabric on both sides, which is going to be fine for this sweater. I didn't want to make an overly fit sweater that's tight to my body. That's just not what I enjoy. But I did want it maybe a little bit smaller than this. And I will tell you why it doesn't fit. First of all, it's a couple of choices that I made is why it doesn't fit. First of all, I added 2 extra rounds of the raglan stitching on the sleeves. I just have bigger arms, and I was worried about fit in my arm for the sweater, but what I should have done is not added the extra raglan because that made this too big, and it made into my body too big. What I should have done is I should have just cast on 2 or 2 extra stitches at the arm because that would have made my armhole bigger. And I think that would have been the way to go. But what I did instead is I added 2 extra rows of raglan, and I added 2 extra stitches at my pickup. So I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done one. I know that for the future, and we'll talk about that also with my ranunculus whenever we talk about my WIP. But what I did is I decreased out, I believe, 3 or 4 stitches into the body, which I'm very happy about that. I do have more of a barrel chest, and so I do know like I need a little bit more room in the chest than I need in my waist. And so because of that, I tried to make up for that discrepancy in size for me. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have trusted the process, but I didn't, and that's okay. It's a great fit. I'm going to be so happy wearing this. I am wearing a tank top underneath this, and that's because I'm not used to alpaca or mohair against my skin. And so I want to have the best experience as I can with this sweater. And to ensure that, I am wearing a tank top underneath. But I am very excited to have this for the winter. It is going to keep me nice and warm. It is just a great fit. I can see myself throwing this on a random Tuesday to go run errands or work with clients. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, that is my step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. All right, let's talk about my next finished object, and that is the Saison de Spooky socks by Cissy Yao. I cast these socks on twice. Check out episode 3 if you want to know more about that. On September 4th was my first cast on. I think I cast on in order to be able to work this pair on Saturday the 6th. I only have 2 more steps to go with this pair of socks. I need to Kitchener my toes. I just have them holding on light bulb stitch markers for right now. I needed my needles in order to start the toe on sock number 2. So these are color work, and they are the cutest little pumpkins. I'm very excited about it. To tell you a little bit about these, I cast on 64 stitches. It is a heel flap and gusset. Around the color work is a pattern, and it is a 3x1 rib pattern to complement the color work. The yarn I am using is, hey girl, the yarn I'm using is the 2024 October box from Yarnable. The main color is called Witch Please. The orange is called Boo Crew. And then there is a gray contrast color that is Magpie Fibers. And their Swinky base color, I believe, is Cinder. Let's talk a little bit about this pair of socks. I wrote down a little bit about what I love, just some reflection on them. So this is my second pair of color work socks, and I learned a lot. First, I learned that darker fabric is hard to see at night for me, and I had to pull out my phone several times as I was trying to count stitches to add in my row count, my light bulb stitches for row counting. Second thing I learned is making sure that you correctly count your cast on stitches. Very important. How do I know that? The first time I cast on 68 stitches total, and I was only supposed to cast on 64. So I had 4 extra stitches. I was deep into the color work before I realized that. I did it on both pairs. because I like to have my socks going at the same time. Again, episode 3 explains all of that. And then the last thing that I learned is that I can finish a pair of socks in about 2 weeks, which is really fun for me because that means part of my challenge this fall for myself is to make a pair of socks a month. I am absolutely going to be able to do that. I'm very excited about it. So, this is pair number 1 for the Pigskin Party 25, and it is my Saison de Spooky socks. All right, y'all. So let's talk about what I'm working on. Here are my WIPs. I only have one work in progress right now, which is crazy, I know. That's not true. I have my reading shawl is still on the needles. There's not been a lot of progress on that. And I still have a sweater on the needles that I'm not starting yet. But my active WIP is my Ranunculus, my Midori Hirose, which I completely said her name wrong several times. I apologize about that. Sometimes if I don't hear it enough, I don't get it. And that's what happened with her name. So, my Ranunculus sweater. I'm going to pull it out and we're going to talk about it. All right, here she is. I am very happy with the progress of this. I have 3 more rows or 2 more rows. Shoot. Until I start the ribbing on it. And I am doing a 3-inch, I believe it's a twisted rib. I'm not really sure what the ribbing is called, but you knit through the back loop, you purl as normal. And I will do that on the body. And then I am blocking this. And that's because I want to make sure that I have enough length in this. And I also want to see what happens because right now, I believe it's not a little too big. It's too big for me. And I cast on size E, which is a 55-inch, which is a 55-inch positive or 55-inch finished bust, which is going to give me around 7 to 8 inches of positive ease. But I think I have more positive ease than that. And I'll show you a picture here. And I'm doing an actual video on my process of the ranunculus, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I will tell you how I'm remedying it. And I'm remedying it the same way I'm remedying I try to remedy my step-by-step sweater, and I am doing decreases down the side. So far I've done 4. I did 2 in 1, 2, 3. I did 3 in pretty quick succession, and now I am going to do another 2 down the side to try to help with the sizing issue that I'm having. But I'm not sure it's going to be enough, which is going to break my heart because what I don't want to do is I don't want to pull this apart and completely redo it. I would have to pull it out all the way up here to the patterning. I don't want to do that. So I want to get the ribbing done. I want to block it. I want to see what happens with the actual sweater. I'll have a better idea of what's going on once it's actually blocked. From what I see and what I gather online is that it blocks out and it stretches. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to get that, be able to get that stretch out of it and get like an extra 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches in length. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens. I'm knitting this on my 6mm ChiaoGoo circular needles. I started this on the early morning of September 11th, and today is the 22nd. So I'm at 11 days on this project so far, and I'm already almost into the ribbing, which is crazy. That I think it feels fast because it is fast because it's larger needles. I have to remind myself that. I'm also playing some yarn chicken with this. I had to order another skein of yarn, which I'm glad I did because I want 3/4 length sleeves. And so I am on the last ball of yarn that I've had originally. So I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to have enough of that for the sleeves to get the length that I want. So I went ahead and I did order an extra skein of yarn. So that's going to put me at six skeins of yarn for this project. Again, I'm going to talk more about this in my actual Ranunculus video. So I will get that blocked this week and I'll probably be able to start working on it again on probably the weekend. And that's because I'm waiting for new blocking mats. My cats got a hold of my other ones and ripped them up pretty well. Yeah, let me just show y'all one more time. I'm very happy with this project. I'm very happy with my progress. I am a little nervous that it's too big, but I think in the end it's going to be fine. It's just very roomy on my back and on my sides. So yeah, I love it. I love the color. I love this color so much. Very happy with this. Very happy with this yarn. Let's talk about what I'm casting on over the next couple of weeks. Hey y'all, Editing Casey here, and I just want to pop in to say that what y'all are about to watch with my cast-ons has changed a little bit from filming this video. So today is October 10th, 2025, and I filmed this 18 days ago. So I have changed my mind a little bit on a shawl that I'm going to talk about. I decided on a hat and I changed my mind on the sweater, but it's still all very fun to watch and to see kind of like what my process is like going through and trying to pick out a project to cast on. I am going to update y'all with all of the information in episode 5, so stay tuned for that next week. But I hope y'all enjoy what is to come with what I thought I would have cast on by now. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. All right, so my first cast on is going to be a pair of vanilla toe-up socks for a sister of mine. I am challenging myself to try new things this fall. So one of those new things that I am going to do is a pair of toe-up socks. First with sweaters. I have 3. I have my Ranunculus, I have my step-by-step, and I have another one that I am going to be casting on that we're going to talk about. Toe-up socks was one of those challenges that I wanted to do. I don't remember what the other thing was. I think I talked about it in my pigskin party video. I'll link that here for y'all. That's neither here nor there. I am trying to push my envelope of what I know and how I knit. So one of those things, toe-up socks. I have this football themed yarn. It's called Game Day Party. It's by Mandi's Makings. And I'm going to just make a really fun pair of toe-up socks for my sister. I think it would be a fun hat, but she does not live in a place where she needs a hat, and she really likes my socks. So I'm going to knit these up on my 5mm 9-inch circulars, and I am going to do a toe up. What is it? Janie's or Cindy's easy. It's either Jane or Jamie's. I could be wrong about that. Easy cast on method. And then I'm going to do just toe up socks. And I am going to do a German short row heel for this pair, which should be fun. I think I've done something similar. I did the short row heel by Earth Tone Girl on a pair of socks earlier this year, so it'll be fun to go back to that. So this is my first cast on. I'm going to get these going. This will be my October sock. So I'm going to finish my spooky socks, my Halloween socks. and then I will get these going once those are done. I'm probably not going to cast these on until next week, probably next weekend. First pair or October sock. So the next thing that I'm going to cast on is a shawlette. It is the Marigold Shawlette. I'll have a picture of it here for y'all. And the yarn that I'm using for this is by Sarah's Handmade Haidt, and it is the Dragonfly in colorway. It's this really pretty gold with some real nice, just tonal blues and greens and pinks, which are some of my favorite colors. And then the purple contrast color, the purple contrast color is going to be the little bit of lace detail on this shawlette. And I'm going to get this cast on in October. Actually, I'm probably going to cast it on as soon as my socks are done. I don't think that this is going to take me a terribly long time to do. So I think I'll be able to get this on and off my needles pretty quickly. Okay, so the next two things are where I need your help. I am making a hat, and I thought I was going to do the flicker and flame hat as pictured here, but there are a couple of other hats that I have found since I made that decision that I think is going to look great in this yarn, and I think it's going to be a fun project to make. First is the Stroblius hat. I can also do the Alpine Bloom. Those are the two hats those are the three hats. Flicker and Flame, Alpine Bloom, and the Stroblius hat are hats that I am in the process of making a decision on. I would love to know, what is your opinion in the comments below. Tell me, out of the yarn I'm about to show you, which hat would you make? So the yarn I'm using is Magpie Fibers in this swanky base. It's called Bougie Beaver. And then I am pairing it with a Spin Cycle fiber dyed in the wool, Mississippi Marsala. I adore this combination. I just think it's gorgeous. So I'm really excited to have a hat in this colorway for this winter. Just don't know what hat I'm going to have in this colorway for this winter, so I need help. I hope you're following me on Instagram, because I'm going to put up a poll later today, way before this video comes out, about what hat y'all would make with this yarn. All right, my last upcoming cast on is another sweater. I know, I've got the bug, and I'm okay with that. The yarn is Coffee by Camilla Fiber Company. It's in their yak base. It's a DK weight yarn. Originally, I was going to do the Salty Days by Veronica Lindbergh. And while I still really like that sweater, I don't know if I want that sweater. I've seen a couple of these sweaters in our community. One of them I really like. The other one kind of turned me off. And I'm wondering if it turned me off because it's too over, because her sweater was too oversized. I do not want an oversized sweater for this. I do want something that's going to be a little bit more fitting and comfortable. I don't want it to be like a big baggy sweater. I don't think that's cute in this design. So that's kind of the things that I am thinking of, is the fit of it, what I want it to look like, and am I going to enjoy it? So the Veronica Lindbergh Salty Days was my original pick. However, last week on Instagram, Knit and Note is an app that releases patterns. Hey buddy, you coming up? There he is. That's my boy. Smalls just joined me. Knit and Note is releasing a pattern called the Echo, and it is a sweater, and they are doing it in like a really deep green, which I think is gorgeous. I also think it would be gorgeous in this. It is a bottom up paneled sweater, so something I've never done before. Again, pushing my envelope. I do think it's going to take me longer than 30 days to knit this, but I'm very excited about it. I really like the look of it. And I think it's going to stretch my ability as a knitter, which I'm here for. I want that. I want to step up my knitting game, which is why I'm doing some of these, what could be considered harder projects. Because I can purl, I can knit, I can now yarn over, I can do slip stitches and fun things like that. Tell me what y'all would do. Would y'all do the Salty Days? Would y'all do the Echo? I'll put pictures of them both here side by side for y'all. All right, next, let's talk about what I've purchased this week. So I only have one bundle of acquisitions. I can't say just have one acquisition. I have a bundle of them, and that is the Good Crunch. It's part of the fall line from the Fiber Seed Company. I completely fell in love with this. So I purchased 6 skeins of yarn. I purchased 2 of the Good Crunch, which is their fall variegated. And then I purchased 4 contrast colors to go with it. Originally, I was going to do Stephen West's the hexagon shawl. I don't know what it's called, and I even went ahead and purchased the pattern, but I started looking at it and I'm like, I don't actually really like it. I think it's a great pattern. I think it's a great shawl, but I also think that it's just going to be a little bit too, not time consuming. I don't like to purl that much. And every other row is purled because it's not garter stitch, it's stockinette. And it's like 400 stitches on your needle at one point, and that's just too much purling for me, like throughout the whole thing. So I think I have vetoed that. But what I found, it has some of those hexagon motifs in it, is the foxtrot shawl. This I think is going to give me the dimension that I want. It's going to give me the playfulness that I want in this shawl. It's also going to, again, fit into that process of stretching my knitting skills, because there's a lot of different motifs in this. I'm hoping to cast this on at some point this winter, this fall. Yeah, at some point this fall, to be able to wear it and use it into the winter. So once that gets cast on, once I get it wound up, I will talk about it at that point. But that is my latest acquisition. Okay, finally, it's here. Let's talk about what I'm reading. I am going to save the best for last on this, and I'm going to talk to you about what's on my Kindle and what is in my Libby app. On my Kindle, I am reading a really cute book called How to Honeymoon Alone. I do not remember the author's name, but it is about 2 people from America who go to Barbados, I believe, on their respective honeymoons after their engagements were called off and they broke up with their significant other. These 2 individuals meet and shenanigans ensue. So it's so cute. It's been a quick read. It's been a lovely read. I've really enjoyed hanging out with these characters. I should be finished with it the next couple of days. I have fallen asleep reading it. I'm not able to get a lot of pages in right now, which is fine. I may only be reading like a page or 2 or 3 pages a night, a little bit more, a little bit less. That is what is on my Kindle for night reading. In my Libby app, I have The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. I am a therapist by trade, and so having these good books that kind of help talk to what is now younger millennials, older Gen Z, about the anxieties that they face, that internet, that addiction to the internet, what algorithms are meant to do in your nervous system, in your world. That's always really good information to have right now. And so I am planning on reading this book this week, to have it to be able to talk with people about. I enjoy books that are for my professional world, that other people kind of latch onto and read. Like, there's a book called Attached that a lot of people did this with. The Body Keeps a Score. A lot of people who aren't in my profession read that book. And while I do think they can be helpful, I just caution people from reading therapy specific books like The Body Keeps a Score, just because it is very heavy. It's really hard to digest. It's also just one way of thinking about trauma. And I'm going to say that same thing about the anxious generation. It's just one way to talk about this anxious generation, to talk about the anxiety that younger generations are feeling. While social media plays a lot into that, it's just one way. And so I talk to my clients about, hey, have this as supplement, not as doctrine, about any book in this world that I talk to them about. It's just really good information. You can take some, you can leave some, you can, take it with a grain of sand. So that's how I talk about these types of books. But definitely read it if you're interested in it. But again, hold it loosely, don't hold it tightly. As I mentioned earlier, today is September 22nd. It is Monday. Books release on Tuesdays, which means that tomorrow, book 6 of the From Blood and Ash, look, I am very excited. Book 6 from the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout will be at my house. It will be at my house, and it will be on my Audible. I am so excited. I cannot wait. Y'all don't know this because I've never shown y'all my books. The first read through of this series, I annotated, I read it, I underlined, I took process with this book just because it is so good, and I know I'm going to get all the feels for it. And I definitely plan on doing that this time around. I'm going to read it slow. I'm going to annotate it. I'm going to put all the flag markers in it. I'm going to underline. I'm going to OMG where I need to. I'm very excited about sitting with this book over the month of October. And the reason why I'm saying October and not tomorrow is because I still have 2.5 books to finish in the series and in the prequel. I'm not going to read book 5. I don't believe I'm going to read book 5 of the Blood and Ash series. I may listen to that, but that's the book from a different character's perspective. If you haven't read it yet, it's now going to be a 10-book series. I'm sure there's going to be more books. I highly encourage you to jump in, read the From Blood and Ash books. Know that they are so spicy. Like, they're like a 4 on the spicy scale, on my spicy scale. Some people might be like, those are a 2. They're not spicy at all. They're spicy to me. So just know that wide open door spice scenes. Just know it going in and you'll be fine. If you cannot handle spicy books, then don't read it. You can always skip the spicy scenes. I do that a lot. But yes, very spicy books. Okay. So the Primal of Blood and Bone comes out tomorrow. I'm gonna finish the books that I have in the series. I'm on book 2 of the Flesh and Fire series. Need to read books 4 and 5 on the From Blood and Ash. My bookcase sits over here to my right. That's why I'm looking at it. but I need to read book 4 and 5 of From Blood and Ash. So I'm going to get those done before I jump into the Primal of Blood and Bone. My neighbor is also doing her reread of these series. I think she's going to read all of them before she reads the Primal. And if she does that, that's going to give me time to kind of slow roll these last 3 books. And I'll be able to get the Anxious Generation in there. So I bet she won't start reading until the end of October. She listens to audiobooks during her day, so she does go through them a little bit more quickly. So, but I bet it'll be into October before we're reading this. And I told her, I was like, can we book club this? Because I know I'm going to need to talk about it. So that's where we're at. Yeah. So those are the books that I'm currently reading and that are on my horizon. All right, next time that y'all see me, it's going to be October, and I'm going to be officially into my October knits. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm excited about what the last 8 days of September hold knitting-wise and getting into more of my fall knits. So drop a comment below. Tell me, what hat would you make and what sweater you would make out of the 2 options that I gave you for that coffee colorway. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I love doing these videos and talking with y'all about my knits. I don't have a lot of people who knit in my world, and so this is just a really fun way for me to kind of get out this energy. Follow me on Instagram. I am on TikTok. Don't post on there as much as I do Instagram. So Instagram's going to be the better place to find me. I'm pretty active on that platform. I hope you'll have a great day, and I hope y'all get a knit finished up this week. I'll see y'all soon. Bye, friends.